Hey, we're back. I've missed all of you so much. I hope you've missed me. You know what? I don't hope you miss. I hope you have been enjoying your life, and all of your endeavors have been fruitful over the last few weeks, and you haven't been pining after your weekly office hours fix. My name's Adam. I'm with the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. In case you showed up here by accident or you're lost or something, pull up a chair, stick around. We're happy to see you. Look, we've been off for a few weeks. The end of the school year, everybody knows, is just a crazy time of year. We've had a lot going on as an organization, but you know what? We're back and we're ready to just knock it out of the park here. And today's going to be a doozy. We're very excited to chat about this. We're going to talk about esports. Yep, video gaming, competitive video games, and the ecosystem that surrounds it and supports it, and the opportunities that arise from the growth of this ecosystem. For those of you that think that we're crazy here, the video game industry has exploded. It's continuing to explode. There are more opportunities than ever. It's still a very competitive field to get into. Whether you're developing games, you're working in the back office, or you're actually performing. Think of it a lot like any other sports organization. You know, like an NFL team. It's not just the players, right? But you have the coaches, you have the travel managers, you have the philanthropic managers, you have the money folks, the hiring, the contracts, like the scouting. There's so much that goes into it, and there's a lot of parallels here. And like I said, esports in particular is growing. And it's competitive. Not just anybody can that, if you're good at Call of Duty, it's not like, well, I'll just join an esports team. Sorry. It's really hard. That's like saying, like, I can catch a football, I'm going to go be on the Packers. Give me a break. It's very competitive, and a lot like much like an NFL team or an NBA team or an NHL team or Major League Baseball. Those jobs that support those things, because people are passionate about sport and competition, those jobs are competitive. They are fought over. But there's still a lot of opportunities there. And guess what? There are programs and movements to help transition veterans. There are many people that believe that your average veteran, your average GI Jane and Joe, actually are well suited to working in sporting, whether it be NFL, traditional sports, or esports, video games, and all of the stuff around it. There are a lot of people who believe strongly, and I agree with them, that many veterans are well suited to that, to the pressures of those environments, to the stringent demands of that industry. And there are programs right here in Wisconsin that seek to educate and help veterans and military family members transition into careers, not just in tech, because it's Tech Month, right? Not just in tech, but specifically in the esports and video gaming industry. How cool is that? It's amazing to think that something that you might be passionate about, or you were passionate about as a kid, there are opportunities out there for you. You can make a career out of something that drives you or drove you or influenced you. Anybody that played video games a lot as a kid, I played a lot of video games as a kid. I have like fond, nostalgic memories. None of the games that I played would be like in an esports anything, just because they were all like RPGs, like Final Fantasy, like the first cartridge Final Fantasies on Nintendo and Super Nintendo and stuff. Kind of slow, but like 90% of my childhood reading came from that. If somebody said, I want you to work for Square Enix, so you can develop Final Fantasy games, I'd be like, sign me up. Where? Anyways, I'm rambling now because I'm excited about this. Abbey Diedrich is here. She's a good friend of the Chambers. She's with New Horizons, which is a great organization she's going to tell you about. They work on educating people and closing gaps in knowledge for tech, youth through adult, and they're working on tech employment pipeline programs for veterans. That's flipping outstanding. So we're going to get into it right after this brief, but nonetheless very loud bumper video. I was going to lower the volume of that video. You've probably heard me talk about that for months, but I tried it and I feel like it missed something. It didn't get me quite as pumped up when it didn't get me quite as pumped up when it wasn't like painfully loud. And there's something about seeing the guest inevitably the second that first drum thing, comes in, seeing the guest in the studio just like jump in their chair 3 feet like every time without fail. Kind of just it's part of the thing now. Anyways, being weird because I'm excited that I'm back, that we're back. Happy to introduce Abbey Diedrich from New Horizons in Wisconsin. How are you?
I'm great, Adam. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And you know what I'm really excited about? More than anything, you and I both have rather developed Scotty accents.
That we do. Yep, that we do.
This is gonna be a regular hootenanny. I'm ready for this. Do you get comments about your accent all the time? I get all the time.
Yes, I'm nasally and I am true Wisconsinite.
Embrace it. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
So Abbey, tell us about New Horizons. What is it and what do you do with them?
Sure. So I have been in with New Horizons since 2014. I am the director of our career development division. And so we primarily help individuals who are considered career starters, career changers, or career enhancers go through not only IT programs, but also, process improvement, human resources, project management, those types of things. So primary goal is just to help individuals get back up on their feet or advance further in their careers.
Right on. And so I did mention earlier, and I hope I got this right, but your programs are these tech development programs and education programs that go from adults, whether they're new career seekers out of college, they're career transitioners, all the way down to you have some youth programs coming up too, right?
Yeah, we're really excited. Primarily our audience that we have served has been the adult audience. And recently we're starting to help 8, 9, 10 plus year olds get into the tech industry. And it's really all around this whole esports space. So I'm really excited to share what we're doing with not only the youth population, but the adult population as well.
And so, career transitioners being a huge part of this, any veteran or anybody in the military or military advocacy or veteran advocacy ecosystem knows that military transition is like the buzzword and no one has cracked the code. I mean, it seems like everybody's working on it, but we're still trying to find the magic formula for this. So why esports? Why specifically veterans and careers in the esports ecosystem?
Sure. So I actually was introduced to Brandon Chalker, who is the co-founder of the Milwaukee Esports Alliance about 2 years ago. And I'm going to be fully transparent. Esports was a foreign language to me. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that, people were getting paid big dollars to play video games. So I, full honesty, I learned a lot along the way, thanks to Brandon, who has educated me. But we were putting our brains together as esports is in its infancy right now, but is continuing to grow. And we were trying to figure out the best way that we could take individuals who are interested in tech and gaming as a hobby and something that they like to do, and how we can apply that to the workforce. So, multiple jobs out there in relation to tech and esports. So we created a workforce program that educates individuals, veterans, kids about hardware and software of information technology, and then hardware and software of esports. So our programs are, like I said, workforce development focused. Our goal is to get individuals jobs in those areas, or maybe they become entrepreneurs. Maybe they design their own video games, or are a Q&A for different organizations as contractors or anything along those lines. So it's been really exciting. We actually had Amon Green, former Packer player, attend our program in March. He's the esports head coach at Lakeland. So we're just getting started.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So
I walked by that guy once. He's like, you don't appreciate seeing on TV just how incredibly powerful NFL players are. Yeah, I remember seeing him with his pads on. I was right next to him. It was like standing next to a Clydesdale. I mean, incredibly, like superhuman demigod, sort of like, if anyone that's been next to that guy knows that, man, he was a beast. He was fun to watch too. Sorry, I digress.
No, and he's just as nice as he is Clydesdale-ish. So
Yeah.
yes.
Right on.
But yeah, it's been cool.
So what are these opportunities really in Wisconsin? I mean, because 10 years ago, this was like a Silicon Valley or Tokyo exclusive,
Right.
Outside of that, or maybe a few places in Europe, we're starting to, the whole, what is it, the PAL system of, like outside of that, are there opportunities here?
Yeah. So it's interesting. For once, I feel like we're kind of ahead of the game. We are a sister company of over 300 other New Horizons. We're locally owned and operated in Wisconsin, but we have over 300 other locations. And I have had more than probably 10 other New Horizons organizations, specifically SoCal, has been all over me about it. Like, what are you doing with esports? Like, what? So it's taking something that, again, people are passionate about and putting it into the workforce. And Experis Gaming, which is part of Manpower Group, actually has, I believe, well over 50 quality assurance testing jobs in their gaming division. So, specifically, Experis, Foley and Lardner has reached out to me. Verizon has reached out to me. Verizon is actually sponsoring some of the MPS youth students that we have for a summer camp. MPS Foundations is sponsoring youth that we have for a summer camp. So it's hot, and people are jumping on the bandwagon to help people who are interested in the esports industry.
And this isn't really far removed for people who aren't really familiar with esports.
Correct.
Every single branch of our armed forces has developed their own esports team. Similar to, Air Force has a football team at the academy. They have, they have all sorts of means by which to showcase the talent of their organization and for outreach, for public relations, and for recruiting, to showcase the talent and the excellence in their programs, to encourage people to enlist and to show the good that they're doing in the community. It is an important part of what our military does to continue to garner support from our community, which is really important. And esports is no exception. I mean, the military is notoriously late to the party on just about stinking everything, and every branch has an esports team. Maybe not Space Force. I don't know if Space Force does. They either have one or it's in development, and they're good too. And they some of them got in trouble because they were crossing the line between gaming and recruiting, which that's the military for you. The recruiters are absolutely ravenous. But aside from that, it should be some writing on the wall for all of you who are still doubtful that this is a legit thing. If the military is putting esports teams together, you might want to actually consider this a real thing. Am I interpreting that correctly?
100%. Absolutely.
Right on. So what opportunities are there? Is it like I get to play Call of Duty all day and get paid to do it? Probably not, right?
Correct. Nope. So what our program is essentially designed to tie in the CompTIA A plus credential, which is an industry recognized IT certification, in addition to esports hardware and software. So the IT portion is covering hardware and software of desktops, PCs, essentially like help desk support type of role. And then the esports portion coincides parallel to that, where they're learning about, the hardware and software of PCs, consoles, gaming systems. And again, being able to work with instructors one-on-one in a virtual setting like this, and be able to learn and apply what they're taking to the workforce. Majority, 99% of our students who have taken any of our esports workforce programs have been eligible and have been awarded funding through specific grants that are applicable or eligible to them in the state of Wisconsin. So we've literally taken individuals with zero background in IT, and we've brought them from, nothing or minimal knowledge of the space of esports or IT, and educated them to where they are getting careers and opportunities in the workforce. So for those of you that, maybe out there who aren't sure of what's next, for you, it's definitely something to consider, because esports is going to continue to evolve and be in demand, as well as information technology.
So that really clarifies something for me. So this is not necessarily, I mean, because there are a lot of coding boot camps out there, but this isn't a coding full stack development boot camp.
Nope.
So this would be less on the game development end of things and more on the platform facilitation end of things. The fact
Correct.
that people are connecting remotely, wirelessly, via LAN, via whatever, and facilitating that competitive e-sporting environment, because having good, reliable, quick connections and responses and being able to support that is probably a pretty integral part of esports. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I would assume that the CompTIA and those certifications that accompany those things, if you don't necessarily, if you're not, they're not niche and specific enough that if you don't land a gig in esports, you're out to lunch. There are a lot there. This is some highly sought after credentials and qualifications. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. So there are, when you look at the IT space, there's a lot of demand specifically, and I'm just specifically going to talk to Wisconsin. We are not the most tech savvy state. I love it. We all live here. We're passionate about it. But like, we are in demand for cybersecurity analysts, cloud analysts, some of those higher level tech positions. And what a lot of companies will do is take that help desk desktop support person and train them internally into those roles, because externally we don't see a lot of, in high level cybersecurity analysts in Wisconsin. And if we do have them, they're already employed. So the help desk is constantly in demand. Like, I am constantly having companies reach out to me like, hey, who do you have for help desk roles or entry level IT roles? And again, the esports folks are good candidates. The entry level IT folks are good candidates. And I always tell people, once you get your foot in the door, sky's the limit where you want to go, right? You go network security, project management. There's a ton of different avenues you can go once you get a kickstart.
How long is this program?
Yeah, so typically the program is about 4 weeks. So
That's it?
That's it. Yep. So we've changed. We're very flexible. Our organization is, so we have access to over 1,100 instructors on a national level that we can bring to Wisconsin through this online live platform. But then we also have a local Wisconsin instructor who has been delivering the cohorts that we've had in January and March. So typically it's about 4 weeks. Some individuals may take a little bit extra time to sit those credential exams, but they will come out with an industry recognized credential after completing an exam and a digital badge. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're on LinkedIn, have seen those digital credential badges. So we have badging and credentials for those folks that complete the programs.
So this is the credentials and the certifications that somebody walks away with from this program are nationally recognized, standard. People see that. If they're in the know, they know that you know what you're doing, at least at a base level.
Absolutely. Yep. So when I started in 2014, it was kind of like, if you don't have a degree, you're kind of SOL when it comes to the employment piece. And things are changing. If you're on Indeed or if you're on any of those, job boards, it is the, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, or a certification or equivalent certification. So certifications are definitely becoming more in demand and aware, as individuals who are unemployed may or may not have 2 or 4 years to go back to school and may just look at getting a 4-week credential to then get their foot in the door.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about financing these things, because a lot of, veterans, obviously, you mentioned grants. The first thing a veteran would ask is if they still have post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility. Is that something that can be paid for through that? Or is it something that they'd hope to get through a grant program? Or talk me through that.
Sure. So right now, New Horizons of Wisconsin is in the process of getting approved through a couple of the different chapters to be able to help the veteran audience. Primarily, if we have veterans coming through our programs right now, it is specifically grant funded through Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, the Workforce Advancement Initiative. We actually have a connection with Tech for Vets up in the Fox Valley area, where they're, heavy on sponsoring some of our students. There's a veteran retraining grant that we use. So the post 9/11 GI Bill isn't specific to New Horizons, Wisconsin, but we have other alternative options to be able to help veterans and their families get into these programs without paying anything out of pocket.
So you're saying it be, obviously every person's circumstance is unique and individual, but you're saying it's not unheard of that a veteran will be able to go through this program and walk away with the certification at no cost to them?
Correct. Yep. If they're eligible and approved, and that's where our team comes in and helps coach them and connect them with our different partners. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of different grants out there, specifically since the pandemic. Governor Evers has a lot of different reskilling, retraining initiatives in place. So we have a lot of those connections here in Wisconsin. And we do, we initially start out with career coaching, determining where somebody wants to go for their career and their end goal, work backwards with them on a program plan, connect them to workforce development, determine eligibility for funding, and then we go on our way to bring them through the program to employment.
Right on. That sounds like a fantastic program. And I do have a website here, careerdevelopmentsolutions.com /NHWI esports. And that'll take you right to that program, and you can sign up to get more information or chat with somebody just from there.
Absolutely.
I would encourage all of you to reach out to them. If you're even curious about transitioning or interested in esports, or it piques your interest, because you're never too old for a career change. If you are post-service, there's a good chance your first shot at a career after service is not going to be your forever career. It's just, the data is against you. And so if you're in one of those positions and you're looking for a change, not only are these highly sought after skills, but they're lucrative. And if you can go through, instead of going back to school or getting a certification, like a longer tenured certification, if you can get something that will put money in your pocket and stability for you and your family, if you can get that situated in 4 weeks and not have to pay out of pocket for it, sounds like a golden opportunity, not only for you to transition if you're coming out of the service, or if you're serving currently in a guard capacity, or if you've been out for a while. It just sounds like it makes sense. Abby, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us that we didn't cover?
I think we covered a lot of good information. I am here as a resource. Honestly, if somebody has questions, if they're unsure of where they want to go, IT is a scary, scary industry. Nobody likes when things don't work. But if there's anyone out there that just wants to chat, that's what my self and my team do to help guide you in the right direction, whether it's New Horizons or whether it's a different path. We're just here to help.
Outstanding. Well, Abbey Diedrich from New Horizons, connect with her. She's on LinkedIn. You can find her there and follow that link on the bottom. Abby, I'll ask you to just hang on the line for just a second.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. That was really cool. Every day we learn about new cool things that people have for veterans. I mean, talk a 4-week certification intensive that gives you lucrative, marketable skills, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. If you're even thinking about making a career transition and network management, IT stuff, esports, if any of that interests you, oh, come on. You got to check this out. You have to check it out. And if you're looking to make a transition to anything, here's a good bit of advice, friends. There are programs like this out there. You may not even know. It's shocking to me how many people in Wisconsin don't know that Wisconsin has a state GI Bill separate from the post 9/11 or the Montgomery. And you can use it for all in-state schools and some other private schools for you and your dependents. A lot of people don't know that. There are programs that are state sponsored. There are programs that are on the outside of it through places like New Horizons. There are a billion programs out there. I argue that it's not that we don't have enough support for veterans, whether it's career support, financial support, lifestyle support, family support. It's just that people don't know where to go. There's almost too many. It's hard to cut through the fog and know what's good and what's valuable and what's not predatory. And that's where we come in and we try to help highlight those things that are legit. And this is legit. But if you are thinking about something, about making a transition in your life or your career, and you have a thought in the back of your head that's like, yeah, I can't survive a transition financially right now. You may not know. I mean, there could be 5 programs out there. There could be a program that gives you grant support for a recertification and grant support to pay rent while you're recertifying. There are training programs for skilled technicians in the trades where you can get paid to apprentice and collect GI Bill benefits. Like, folks, don't assume that the support isn't there for you, because you could be talking yourself out of an opportunity or a change that could be fruitful or meaningful for you and your family. That's all I got. Appreciate all of you. Very, very excited to be back, and we'll see you next week.